Throughout history, references to gigantic beings have appeared both in ancient writings and in legends. The Maya and the Incas believed that a race of giants existed before the Great Flood. The Greeks and Romans believed it too. The most famous was Goliath, who had 4 brothers and, like him, they were giants. The Sumerians recorded their history on clay tablets that lay forgotten for 50 years in the Berlin Museum. These were deciphered by Zechariah Sitchin, who claimed they were at least 6,000 years old. On those tablets, the gods are depicted as having a stature far greater than that of human beings. According to the Sumerian records, years later, the gods interbred with the daughters of men and giants were born. These titans were so destructive that the gods decided to annihilate them. The apocryphal book of Baruch states that God sent the flood and destroyed all life on earth, including the 409,000 giants, before the Israelites. The book of Deuteronomy speaks of King Age. Age, king of Bashan, was the last of the Reptilian means giant in Hebrew. In the book of Numbers, Moses sent men to scout settlements, and upon returning they claimed to have seen giant monsters that looked like grasshoppers compared to them. Babylon, in Iraq, was known for its wealth and splendor, but before that, the Sumerians had been there, and they had contact with beings from the sky. The first acted like a wall-blocking tunnel access. The second was enormous, like a vault or hemisphere at the tunnel's end, near the mountain's center. In 2003, a major discovery was made in the Bucegi Mountains, where the United States pressured the Romanian government to keep it secret, taking control of the area and the Romanian-American expedition. The structure is far larger and more complex than the one in Iraq. Above the Bucegi Mountains sits an energy pyramid whose shadow appears twice a year, supposedly serving a protective function to safeguard the knowledge of truth. This hollow space inside the mountain could not be identified from the outside. It began directly within the mountain, at a certain distance from the slope, and took the shape of a tunnel. Caesar Brad, a prominent researcher and expert in strange phenomena involved in this discovery, was approached through Romanian intelligence by Massini, a politically influential figure. At a tunnel's end, a massive stone door slid to the left. The 3D images were perfect and massive, nearly 2.5 meters tall. These projections were self-activated but interactive, depending on who touched the surface. It felt like a vast library of the universe. 20 years ago, a cemetery with giant skeletons was discovered by chance while planting apple trees in Skane. Digging revealed bones of a staggering 2.4 meters in height. In front of the shield appeared a hologram of Earth. The true origin of humanity was portrayed in a compressed holographic form. The beings who built this structure had to be very tall, otherwise the enormous scale of the whole objects makes no sense. Clearly, the 2 hemispherical energy shields were directly connected. Before reaching the door, one had to pass through an energy barrier. 3 members of the first team touched it carelessly and died instantly from cardiac arrest. After these truths came to light, we can say that 90% of official human history is falsified and manipulated. Any object that touched the barrier disintegrated into dust immediately. In 2002, a Pentagon satellite designed for geodetic surveillance detected a void in a specific part of the Bucegi Mountains. This shut down the barrier and opened the door, revealing a grand gallery. Although there was no light source, it was illuminated. After the barrier went down, the large hemispherical shield on the opposite side of the chamber suddenly increased in vibration and began emitting higher radiation. The satellite scan revealed to large energy barriers artificial separation structures. Coincidentally, after the Iraq War broke out a few months later, the Americans gained access to the region's greatest secret. Etched upon them were unknown symbols, reminiscent of ancient Cuneiform. The script consisted of triangles and circles not painted, but visually prominent with fluorescent radiation in various colors for each table. There were 5 tables on each side of the chamber. It seems what lay inside was connected to Earth's mysterious past. Massini provided ultra-sophisticated U.S. military technology to penetrate the first energy barrier. Machina drilled rock at high speed using a powerful plasma jet and rotating magnetic field. The entrance resembled a subway station with polished walls leading into the enigmatic tunnel discovered by the satellite. By striking the triangle at the center of a polished square rock, Caesar activated a large stone door which slid into the wall. It appears the energy shield in Iraq activated abruptly and vibrated at a high frequency. In the entrance hall, there were enormous stone tables about 2 meters high. When approached, each table triggered a holographic projection displaying a specific scientific field. There was a large dome projecting a hologram of humanity's most distant past, from its very origin, thus confirming Darwin's theory of evolution to be completely false. Stories from people in the village of Bozioru about giants who once lived in those lands carry authentic proof. Unfortunately, the US presidency was alerted to these events and contacted Romanian diplomats. Panicked Romanian politicians did not know how to react. The Romanian government was preparing a formal declaration to the world, but some members of the Supreme Council of Defense objected. When the US diplomatic corps learned Romania intended to disclose the discoveries, they blocked all financial transactions and institutional access to Romania. That official declaration would have revealed the Bucegi Mountain's discoveries with photos and all necessary data, most importantly exposing humanity's true origin and the falsehoods of mainstream history. As incredible as it seems, most historical events we accept as real are lies, while myths and legends from various cultures often edge much closer to the truth. In the city of Tiwanaku, known as the City of Giants, stands its most emblematic monument, the Gate of the Sun, weighing 12 tons and built 15,000 years ago. Crafted from a single stone, some claim it was an intricate calendar, others attribute it to giants or even It bears some of the world's most complex and enigmatic figures, with the god Viracocha at its center. Other researchers speak of a stargate used by these beings to travel to other places. Faces carved into walls, called underworld skulls, 365 heads of various races and ethnicities shacked it. It was a major gathering place for different peoples. In that city, figures resembling the Moai statues hold a two-headed snake in the left hand and a human-shaped amulet in the right. Evidence isn't only preserved in ancient texts, it's embodied in skeletal remains discovered worldwide. In India, Tibet, and South America. Some date back 45,000 years. Near the former Soviet Union, skeletons nearly 3 meters tall with 6 fingers on hands and feet were uncovered. The giant of Jabad in southern China also had 6 digits. In Transvaal, South Africa, a 5.18-meter skeleton was found in 1946. Graves of beings, nearly 3 meters tall with double rows of teeth and 6 fingers have appeared in North America. Meanwhile, in 1912, a cave in Nevada revealed mummified, red-haired giants, nearly 3 meters tall. Local farmers were astonished, but the Paiute Indians claimed to have contact with them. A Paiute princess wrote a book mentioning them, saying, "The tribe of giants devoured the dead, and that her people fought them." Nearly 60 skeletons were recovered but have since vanished. In Lebanon, 65 kilometers from Beirut, stand the impressive ruins of Baalbek. This site is referenced in the Book of Kings in the Old Testament, and features some of the largest construction stones ever used on Earth. And this list doesn't end here. With all this evidence, it's hard to claim giants never existed.